Hello, CGTN friends on all social media platforms. Welcome to this special live streaming at the Backstage of the Sands Theatre. Here with me is Matthew. He's the production company manager.
I am.
For the Disney musical Aladdin in Singapore. And Singapore is your only Asia stop, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately, but we are here, and congratulations that you're here as well, and welcome.
So it's been opened for a week or 2 weeks?
About a week and a half now, yeah.
Yeah, how's the Singaporean or Asian audience respond to this?
They're embracing us, and we're loving that. The show comes with a bit of local flavour, so we put some local jokes in. They're landing very well with our Singaporean and Asian audiences. It's so fantastic to be here.
I was going to ask, when you tour these musicals, do you try to localize it? So what kind of local jokes?
We have,
you can't tell us.
No, you have to come and see the show.
Yes.
But when we were in Australia, for example, there's a food reference. So we would obviously Vegemite for Australia. We've got a local thing like that.
You have kaya toast in Singapore?
I can't tell you.
Okay, yes, they're trying.
I have had that. I have tried that, yes.
Okay.
But it may be in the show, it may not be. You have to come and see.
Right. So what do you have for us? We're going to see
We're going to give you a look around. So a bit of a all-access areas pass. We're going to have a look at the stage. There might be a special guest who'll join us as well along the way. But we're going to kind of see what the audience never get to see, which is backstage.
Exactly.
Also, what the cast see on stage, the auditorium, which is quite spectacular and grand here at the Sands Theatre.
Right.
Should we go for a walk?
Yes, let's go.
Let's go. Follow me. So normally there's no photography.
Oh, yeah.
But you're with me, so it's okay today.
Rare treat.
Yeah. So this is backstage. These are all our props. So it's one of the biggest prop shows that I've ever worked on. I've been doing theatre for about 20 years now.
Wow.
But you can kind of see all these ornate, beautiful colours. And when the show was originally created, our creative team did a site visit to Marrakesh to kind of get the flavour and that sort of sense of heat and colour and vibrancy that you'd kind of expect to see somewhere like Marrakesh, which is kind of where the world extends itself to. And so we're going to see some more props on the other side, but you can kind of see just the scale of colour. And
these are headwear, or
no, these are poles that appear in Prince Ali. This is all Prince Ali. So we'll see some costumes later on as well from Prince Ali. Over 370 costumes in the show, all custom made, beautiful. 500,000 Swarovski crystals on stage every night.
I heard lots of
so there's lots of sparkle, lots and lots of sparkle. Come up the ramp.
Yeah, I guess that's what audience expect. When many people probably have seen the 1992 Disney classic Aladdin, and so they come here and what kind of experience do you want to give them that is different?
Well, I think we have like an obligation almost to make sure that the memories they have of that film are still there on stage, and they get that. And I think we take that and then add on top of it. So all the classic songs. I mean, the song, "A Whole New World's" going to be there. And it's all of those beautiful things that we had in the film that have now just been put onto stage. We also have the license, I think, when you do things on stage to heighten it. So, there's a lot more grandeur. We can do some amazing things with costumes and scenic elements and those kind of things. And we obviously have a magic flying carpet.
Yeah, well, you must.
Which is incredible. Which is incredible to see. And then, what's on camera now is our spice market. So we have... We go into one of the first scenes is we welcome the audience into Agrabah, which is our fictional city. And we have all these beautiful colours and sort of taking the essence of what you'd expect to see in that kind of marketplace. And that opening number is really an introduction of all the characters. All these beautiful poles and silks and the buildings. And you can see a glimmer of gold. That's our Cave of Wonders, which is also a spectacular number.
Right. That must be a scene.
Oh yeah. That's the genie's little moment.
How long does it take to make all these props?
When we arrive in a city, it takes us 9 days to actually put it all together.
Oh, okay.
So when we come into a theatre, we what we call a bare walls theatre, so it's nothing there. So even the floor that we're standing on actually travels with the show. This is actually an Aladdin floor as well. So that's quite amazing that we actually bring all that sort of stuff in as well.
Right.
Yeah.
How many containers of things?
30 shipping containers.
30?
Yeah. Costumes is about 1.5, just the wardrobe alone.
Right.
Yeah. That's a lot. So I want you to come out. We're going to go out on stage because I want to introduce you to someone.
Oh, there's someone special.
So this
Whoa!
We have Aladdin.
We have Aladdin.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
This is
Hi.
Graham Asako.
Can you say something for our audience?
Can I?
Just sing
Sing something. A whole new world. There you go.
That's what everyone
So we're
is
very lucky
expecting.
to actually get to go on this is his home now, the stage.
Yeah.
So come on out. So Graham, what's it like to perform in Singapore?
Oh my! Look at that. I mean, look at the.
I mean, no one gets to see that. That's the view the cast see every night.
Right.
I mean, and every theatre is very different. Personally, I really like Singapore's this specific theatre because it feels so open, and I feel like I'm performing to like an arena. You know, and it's not so like small and content. But it's really nice to be, as you can see, they're quite close.
Yeah.
You know, there are many scenes that you can feel really intimate with them, and just have fun and bounce off of their energy. And so, if you're coming to see a show, get up and clap and, give us the energy because we bounce it back to you.
Right.
And the Singapore audiences have been so different to like the Australian audiences in New Zealand.
They're laughing at completely different jokes. Like, I mean, because every city, obviously, we change up our local jokes. And so Genie, breaks that fourth wall so that he can really invite them into Agrabah. And they're just loving it. They're just really loving it. And we're loving it backstage, being able to, to share that experience with everyone.
What do you enjoy most to being Aladdin?
Probably that we share such similar attributes and qualities. Like, he's very cheeky, and he's, us, Matt.
Tick.
He's cheeky, and I say it all the time, like, he's cheeky and he's really down to earth, but he's got a big heart. He makes mistakes all the time, but he's trying to be a good person, and I think that's what's so relatable to everyone that comes to see the show, that we all have a bit of Aladdin in us, whether it's in terms of the relationship or the journey that you're on in your life, and I love to be able to play that every night.
Every night when you come here, do you still have the butterflies in your stomach?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I'm in. Is it a bit of nervous, or is it exciting?
No, I think if you're not nervous, at that capacity inside here, then you're not enjoying it as much. And and we all have that, and I think that's why it's important that we have warm up together, and we have every show we come an hour before, unless you're Genie or Jafar, who come an hour and a half and they have to do all their makeup. But we're on stage doing a singing warm up and a dance warm up every single show, and that really unites us, and so that we can kind of control that energy and give it to the audience in the best way. Yeah.
What kind of practice do actors artists like you
to
have
upkeep
to,
the show?
you have to practice singing and dancing all the time?
Oh, all the time, and it's also about the warming up and the cooling down, making sure that we're bubbling or massaging our vocal cords, that we're having honey, lemon, ginger tea, that we're sleeping as much as we can. Like, that's an essential. That's just, isn't it? That's just a foundation. If you don't do that, then you're not giving the audience the best that you can. So there's so many little side things, but I think it's important for our mental health to just get out as well and go on adventure and be in the sun, and what a better place than Singapore to kind of do all of that.
Oh yeah, have you done a little bit of sightseeing in Singapore?
Oh, yeah, I've been up the top Marina Bay Sands. I'm yet to go to Gardens by the Bay, but just checking out all your food places is always our number one. Food.
Oh yeah, it's a food-loving nation.
What's
your favorite dish in Singapore?
So I mean, I just love the simplicity of a chicken rice. To be honest, I love the. Last night I went to.
Australia.
I'm from Australia and New Zealand, yeah. And so I went to La Posat last night and had my prawns and satay skewers. And every time I saw Matt walking home and I was hiding. Don't look at me.
Third time this week.
Just last question. How old were you in 1992? You obviously watched the Aladdin movie. Was that a dream of yours to be one day on the stage and play?
I was 3. I was born in 1989, so I was 3 years old, a lot younger than Matt.
1 year.
But yeah, I mean, I loved all the Disney classics from, Beauty and the Beast and Lion King were kind of my favorites, and it wasn't until a little bit later when I understood Aladdin that I loved it. And I don't know, I didn't really I wasn't thinking that I'd love to perform that.
When you got the role, what did you feel?
Oh, beyond, and there's so many other things that I learnt about him now. There's so many songs and characters that are in the stage show that were originally written for the film that were put aside in the archives, and now we've brought that back. So that's something really special that audiences now I think will really draw them in, because you get a better backstory of Aladdin and who he really is and why he's on that journey, whereas you don't really see that much in the film. It's quite fast.
Right.
So you really get to involve yourself in who he is. There you go.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Come and see him play. All right, you have more things to show us.
Yeah, do you want to come with us? We're going to go look
Okay,
at some
okay,
costumes.
let's go.
Come with us.
So this is one of the coolest things, to be able to stand here and perform, but also knowing that you've got people on the side grabbing up their baskets and scarf poles, and you just peripherally have to know, okay, there's a wall there and I need to go behind or front. There's so many other elements to being a performer on stage that people really just don't understand.
Yeah.
And there's a whole little army backstage that during a show as well, which is quite remarkable. So to run the show, it's just over 100 people. The only 30 of that is the cast, and the rest is crew. So what happens, the show that happens in the wings and backstage is its show like a separate little show.
They should be selling tickets.
That's better than the real show
Yeah,
is.
like sitting up there on the wall just watching what's going on. Like, come have a look.
Yeah.
Take it all in.
They are the backstage heroes that made it happen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this is your grand opening.
This is one of the sets, it's called One Jump, so this is one of the buildings that I would be jumping on top of, and I'll be sneaking through, and all the harem girls are trying to hide me from all the guards, so they'd try and stop the guards, and I'm like, thank you, I'm running this way, and so there's little things like this.
Oh, where's your buddy, Abu?
Abu, where is he?
What's the history of Abu and this version?
Oh, there's different.
Well,
Yeah.
because in the stage show we have Aladdin has three friends, Omar, Babkak, and Kasim, and that was the original idea. And then when they were doing the film, the original animated film, they replaced it with Abu and made it the monkey. So when they were doing the development for the musical, they actually let's go back to what the original idea was, and that's when these three friends came back into play.
They're human friends, not
Yeah,
animal
human
friends.
friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of stuff that was kind of lost in the original workings of the film that have now been brought back, including some of the music as well.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
And that's some of the things that I was saying before about like that backstory now really supports. So the three best friends that he's with, I mean, from the very first scene of the show is that, apart from when the show opens, the first major scene is Aladdin and Babkak, Omar and Kasim, and it just really, I get it. I get why he's that
Really
way.
establish his character.
Yeah.
and
For sure,
personality.
and that he is a street rat, and they are pickpocketing, and the first scene, one's picking over here and he's chucking the jewels over here, and there's hiding, and no one knows what's going on, and you see from the audience now, I understand now what's going on, and then that helps build the story.
Right.
yeah, it's amazing because there's even some of the music, is new for the musical, but some of it's actually like 20 years old because it was written originally for the film and just kind of never got used and sort of sat in a vault. Yeah. So and everyone's like, oh, this beautiful new music, and the writers are like, it's actually 25 years old, plus some. So
It's cool. I mean, for us, we're very, very lucky to be able to invest in that knowledge now. Like, I didn't know that, and then when I joined the show and you learn this, and Alan Menken turns up to your, rehearsal studio in Melbourne last year, and we're just like, this man wrote that.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there. Oh, what about the other one that I wrote? Then and on the phone. Just
I mean, he
memory
really
lane.
was. I mean, we were all sitting in that room, and it really was like he was the songbook for most of our childhoods. I mean, he wrote some of the most
You
amazing.
look at the credits, and it's just Alan Menken, Alan Menken, Alan Menken.
So I mean, to be just in the same
How
room
old
with
is
him.
he now?
He's 2 years older than me, so 3 years older than me.
Yeah, so 22.
Yeah. Let's go with that. I don't know. I have no idea.
What else can we show you?
Okay, yeah. What else?
Like just like, I mean, if you even look at the fabrics that are used, look at the shapes, and it's very.
Is it a drum?
Angular. That's one of the drums.
Here's a drum. We're not afraid of colour at all.
Look at that. Boom. Baskets, grapes, pillows.
I mean, if you want to come around here, I mean, just the amount of the colour and all the detail. I love all this. I mean, the audience probably would never see this, but I just think that's really cool.
And the really cool thing about these with the male and female
They
ensemble.
look real.
Yeah, so they're back, say for example myself as Aladdin and Jasmine are in the front doing the main scene, and in the back you've got 20 odd people at the back, I'll give you a little example. So Hi, so would you like to buy some grapes
Oh, we're
today?
acting.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you know, like they've got their own sub-stories going on in the back, and if they're committed, that assists the scene that's happening in the front. It really creates that atmosphere that they are in Agrabah, that they're in a marketplace. The biggest details of the choreographer, Casey Nicolor, he'd always say, like with the scarf poles, when he went to Morocco,
Marrakesh.
Marrakesh, sorry, that they were like high up in the air, and they were like lifting over, and they were selling them. It was that like hustle and bustle, and so that's another aspect of the show that you'll see. That you know, you're watching your main characters, your principals, but in the back there's just this whole
lot of things going
yeah,
on.
it's a full-on marketplace, and everyone's got great. Someone's got swords, someone's selling something else. You know, like it's amazing.
Someone's
I
selling
love
something.
it.
Let's go upstairs. Let's
Yeah.
look at some costumes.
Oh, we have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Just walk
Yeah.
quickly. Also, this is the Wall of Fame,
This is
right?
something that you would probably never ever.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Voila.
So now we're 1 floor up above the stage. So we're kind of walking above the stage now.
Okay.
We'll have a little sneak peek in here. So this is
Hair and makeup.
hair and makeup. So have a quick look at this.
When do
So
you
these are
ever
all
get
our
to see
amazing
this?
wigs.
Yeah.
All human hair wigs. No girl in the show actually wears her own hair. So every girl wears wigs. And some of them have up to like 4 or 5 wigs in a show.
Do you need to wear a wig?
No, thankfully
You
my
have nice
hair
hair.
is curly, and our team are incredible. You know,
And
what they
Jasmine
can
must
do.
have
Jasmine has a couple of wigs.
Right. she has beautiful hair.
But yeah, all human hair.
Where are they from?
They were all made in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kylie Clark was our wig maker, and she's renowned as like one of the best. So we were so lucky to have her work on the show.
So the human hair has a different texture than the
It
plastic
behaves
one,
like
yeah.
real hair. So the
Right.
humidity here has been a bit of a problem
I was
for
just going
us.
to say, like,
Yeah.
you can't feel it obviously, but the aircon is cranking,
Yeah,
so that
this
we can,
room's cold.
so that they can just, if you look, they can sit in the place that you know
Where
they
it's
want it
supposed
to.
to.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
give it half an hour, not even that,
Yeah.
and they lose their shape, and so it's really important. that we
Apparently,
look
when
after-
Beckham came to Singapore, the only advice Victoria gave him is be careful of your hair.
Ah,
and the humidity.
I,
Well, it's
I
important.
believe it.
It's important. It's
Yeah.
important.
All right, let's go see.
Let's keep
the-
going.
How many outfits do you have on the show?
Oh, I'm lucky. I go from a street rat to a prince. So
Yeah.
1, 2.
Just two.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. But a
Thank you.
male ensemble would have anything up from 5 to 8 costumes.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, look at it.
Wow.
So this area here is what we call it's the bunker, and it's basically we have a male version, a female version, and this would be where the male ensemble during the show would do their number on stage, run up here, change costumes. We'd have a support team of dressers in here, and they'll lay out their next costume. They'll run up, they'll rip the clothes off, next clothes, they'll run back down the stage. So some of the casts we're doing up and down the stairs that we just went 15, 20
Easily.
times a show, you know, running in really heavy wardrobe costumes.
Are they heavy?
Yeah, like, I mean, something like this. Look at that. That's what's his name? Prince
Abdullah.
Abdullah. You know, that is incredible. So he's a prince that tries to come and snatch up Jasmine, and he has to be, you know, it's just, look at the detail on that.
I think I was saying before that, you know, 500,000 Swarovski crystals on stage.
Yeah.
These are the Friend Like Me tap costumes, and so you'll sort of see just the embellishment and the detail all the way down here,
1,401 pair of male pants right there.
and we have about 15 of them on stage. So there's a lot of Swarovski just on the pants. But I mean,
So
it just
when they dance, it swirls.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
yeah. They're like human mirror balls.
Yeah.
It's quite spectacular.
Yeah, and we've got live fireworks going on. You know, like it's insane.
Yeah, it's
That
Real fireworks?
real fireworks on stage.
Real.
Yeah.
Boom, streamers like.
Yeah, we got it all. We throw it all in there. But even like these are the hats.
At where?
You know, like no one really actually sees the top of it, but then just the detail that we go into
Oh, yeah.
on all the millinery.
Look at that.
See, but that's not my head size, so I can't fit it. So which is even cooler that
This is
everyone's
the
got their.
right?
No, these are the guards.
We're very similar to, you know, the motif is similar, like that
Even
evil.
like the little eye.
Yeah.
And what matches that
Oh, yeah.
headdress is these guards' costumes. So that's the look.
Wow.
I mean, and I want you to hold that. I want you to feel the weight of that.
Yeah. Whoa.
Right?
Yeah, it's heavy.
And they also have swords, which are real in the show.
We have real swords, and we're every
heavy.
single day we have
Yeah.
it's called a fight call, and so we make sure any of the scenes that we do that we'll go over them. So because you know things happen all the time, and you might be a bit flustered, and you just want to make sure that you know where your sword's going. We always have rules to either run with the sword down or up, because if I'm running towards you, it's going to hit you. So we'll always run. If you have your sword, you're running with your sword up or down on
Right.
stage,
Right.
and off as well.
Yeah.
Or we don't bring swords in the bunker area like this because it's so busy. You know, there's so many things that we're trained from the very beginning, and it just becomes a habit because safety is the most important thing for everyone, really.
Oh, I have to see if I can organise that.
Oh, it's,
I think she takes it home because it's so beautiful.
ah,
Well, I mean, if you're a Disney princess, you would wear it at home as well when you were like doing the dishes and yeah, of course, right? And then we have. I really want to show you.
So
there's
these are bad guys.
yeah, like
Yeah.
they're the guards that are just
yeah.
seeking power and you know authority, really.
And your prince costume is what color?
It is white, very similar to these,
Okay.
but with some gold kind of beading and jewels. And then I have a massive cape, which assists me with my facade of being a
Do you
prince.
have a sword as well?
No,
No.
I'm a good boy.
You don't need it.
No.
Your
Oh,
weapon's
that's
your
a-
charm.
That is,
Yeah.
yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, it's very over the time prince. Like, you know, he
right.
thinks that's what a prince is, but
Right.
they're all like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But, it's really cool to play that.
So the show is going on for another few weeks, isn't it?
Another 5 weeks. Yeah.
And then where are you guys
Then
going?
that's it.
Going
This
home.
production
Sweet.
closes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So lots of people are going on holidays. I'm going to Japan, which I'm very excited about.
Wow. I just bought a house. I want to go and live in it.
I think because Saturday night this week will be our 1,000th performance.
Okay.
Wow.
So
So
you play that 1,000 times.
With the show has been
Yeah,
1,000
1,000
times.
shows.
Yeah, and if someone's sick, the show still goes on. Obviously, you know that's why
So
we
you
have
have that
understudies.
Yeah.
And, but the company as a whole, and so that's over 3 years.
Yeah.
We started June 20, 2016 was our day one rehearsal. But having before that, there was at least a year of
well,
planning.
yeah, auditions and all that.
Yeah.
stuff. So like I've been on
a
it for
4
a
to 5
really
year
long time.
journey.
And there is, it's been such an incredible journey. I hate that word, but journey. But it really has, because it's, we've gone from, developing this show and, working out who the cast would be and putting it all together and rehearsing it. But I mean, because we have been on the road, you do become like a family. Like
Yeah,
it sounds a bit cliched and silly, but it's kind of true. And all of a sudden, like just, in 5 weeks' time, that just finishes. Like
Yeah.
just, you're
And how
here one
many
day, you're
shows
home.
were you saying? It was like last week you were telling me, like there's been at least 10, 15 shows that have started and finished.
Yeah.
Whilst
there was
we're still
there was a
running.
boy that was put in this show originally that he left to go into another experience, another show, and he's done 4 other musicals while we're still going.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy,
Yeah.
and which is so. I think it speaks volumes to the quality of this show that
That's
it's
it.
been able to
Love
sustain.
From the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Well, I
think
mean that's what's selling tickets, right? If people are loving it and enjoying it, you go and share it, and
Yeah.
you share your experience. And I think every auntie and uncle of mine has seen it 4 or 5 times.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah,
Yeah.
people come back all the time, all the time.
I think there's also you know, watching it from the front, there's so much to take in that you kind of have to come back and see it again
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you'll
yeah,
miss
yeah.
it. Like, you know, you'll kind of the fireworks will kind of go, oh, that was amazing, and
You
you'll miss something else.
something
Yeah,
every time,
yeah.
right?
But even like you know, we're up to 1,000 performances. There's still stuff that
You see-
I see new that, you know, because it is the cast. You know, there are moments that they have to kind of recreate to keep it fresh, and the audience is such a big part of that as well. And so, different audiences react differently. I mean, I remember our first Singapore audience we had here. They laughed at something that we've never had a laugh at ever.
Yeah,
And there was a lot of people going, what happened? Like, did we miss something? And they're like,
Yeah,
oh, they
yeah.
just find that funny. It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
hasn't happened, which is really exciting. And then it just changes the level of the show.
And there seems to be in the marketplace, we have a fortune teller, and she, you know, she's so fake. She's just pretending like she knows what's going on, and there's a specific line that she says, which we've had laughs in other cities, but Singapore just
love it.
is
Love
responding.
it.
Like, they just think it's the most funniest thing ever, and that just drives the rest of the scene, you know. So we love that kind of audience participation. Yeah.
Right. So end of this, what are you going to do something special? Because it's the end of the show, right?
I imagine there'll be, maybe we'll have
Yeah, like
maybe
a little drinks
drink
party,
or a
a
little party,
celebration.
something.
I think we
it's
all.
also not really, it's not like goodbye, it's just see you
Yeah.
soon. I mean, the industry is so small, and you know, you can't really do this for 3 and a bit years and not just end it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
there'll be coffee catch ups back in Australia. and,
for
you
sure.
know, and it's so small. I mean, you know, Graham and I,
Worked on Lion King together,
and then we
yeah.
came straight on to Aladdin. So I mean, we've been working together for a really long time, and we kind of get along. It's fine, but you know.
So what's your next project? Same project or different
you-
project?
I'm going on
started
to
Frozen,
going
yeah.
on to Frozen, so that's coming to Australia,
Oh, cool.
July 2020. That's next year, isn't it? Yeah. So I'll be going on to Frozen, and so I'll sort of start work on that just before
Straight
Christmas.
away. Yeah.
So I'll have a bit
He's
of a break.
lying. It's straight away. Like, it doesn't get a break.
Well,
After
Japan.
yeah,
after
Japan.
You're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
for Rugby World Cup.
Lots of
gonna be-
things.
Yeah.
I'm also going for Disneyland.
Well, I'm going to Hong
you.
Kong the week. As soon as we finish, I'm going to Hong Kong for a week. Hopefully, everything's okay.
Yes.
And I can go to. I want to take my son. I have 2 children, so we want to go and take them to Disneyland. But you know, the good thing for us as an actor.
What's your next project?
Yeah, like there's so many auditions happening at the moment, not just for Australia but worldwide. There's always things, and I think it's important to stay relevant. And I want to go do some classes again. I want to go do some singing lessons and just kind of rehash what my passion is and find that again. But you know, I'll be auditioning for Frozen. I'll be auditioning for whatever, and that's important. You know, that we just keep ourselves busy. You know, because I love it. I just want to be on stage.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We're very lucky to do what we do. We're very lucky. I mean, it is a job, but it's
We're in Singapore. Like,
I mean, it's
what?
crazy. You know,
Yeah.
and I've been to Singapore 6 times, but this
Yeah.
is the first time I've actually left the airport. Every time it's just been layover. And I've never left Changi Airport. So I'm thrilled to actually step
Yeah.
out and actually experience it for the
And
first
it's
time.
quite a relatively long stay, right? This time.
Yeah, I mean, we're like going, I wish it was like another 5 weeks. Like,
Yeah.
it's going so fast,
It
which
would've
we
been
hate.
nice.
We would love to have been here for a couple of
Well,
months.
bring Frozen to Singapore. I'm sure it will sell well.
See what I can do.
Yeah.
Leave it with me.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
It's been a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for
you
coming.
for the backstage tour, you know,
Very
which we'll never
lucky.
get to see. But if you're in Singapore, don't forget to come and catch the show. And that's all for today's live streaming. Thank
Great,
you.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Bye for now.